Well, unfortunately, we are coming to the end of another summer here in central Pennsylvania. And luckily today, it's in the mid to upper 70s. It's been pretty cool for the last week or so Mr. T has not been outside much. He's adjusting. He's not real happy about it, but he is adjusting. Usually every year there's about a 2-week transition period when it first gets cold, and then in the spring when it starts to get warm again, where he thinks it's warm enough that he can go outside, but it's just not quite there. So I keep him inside. He does tear up my kitchen quite a bit. So for any of those of you that are thinking about getting a sulcata, keep in mind it has to be at least 70 degrees outside or warmer, or they're gonna have to be inside. And once they start getting bigger, they do destroy your house. I mean, luckily I have an older kitchen and I don't care about the cabinet doors and stuff like that, but you get scratches on the walls, scratches on the doors, cabinets, wherever he goes. It's not intentional, but they're just big, strong creatures, and pretty much they bang into stuff. So as you can see, he is tearing up the yard one last time. I don't keep my grass very short, pretty much for him, so there's always plenty for him to eat out here. I do have some nice neighbors who allow him to eat their grass and their clover. Also, fortunately, about a block away there's a big vacant lot which has plenty of clover in there for him, so we walk down there almost every day, get some exercise, and also eat some clover. So hopefully might be able to get 1 or 2 more days out of the year, but overall getting towards the end. So you can see here the leaves are starting to fall a little bit, and it's been in the 60s for the last week, so he has not been outside. Probably one of our worst summers as far as rain. Actually, I think it was a historic high as far as rain. Here you go, buddy. But he is chowing down one last time. I'm gonna have to switch over, change things up, and for the winter do get a variety of food for him, different stuff you can get at the grocery store. I try not to feed him the pre-packaged stuff from the pet stores. It's not really the healthiest. Obviously, you keep your house warm. I do have 3 different kinds of heat lamps. I have a UV light, and I have basically a daytime heat lamp and a night light that is also a heat lamp. My house itself is usually at least 70. I've got some space heaters around so that he stays warm wherever he is, and then obviously the heat lamps are in his bedroom, so when he's sleeping for the night he's still warm. I check his temperature of his shell on a regular basis. I check the temperature of the house, the room, and also you kind of have to check the floor, because even though it might be 70 degrees where your thermostat is, might only be 64, 5, 6, somewhere in that range down on the floor. You also get a lot of dampness from your basement, so keep that in mind, because these guys are obviously down on the floor. So I recommend getting one of those infrared thermometers. Just shine it at the floor once in a while, see what your temps are down there if you have to. If he has an area where he likes, throw down a piece of cardboard. And my little guy has a spot in the kitchen where he always curls up in the corner, so I've got a piece of cardboard there and a space heater, and that's pretty much his spot for the winter. So if I'm home, he's out with me, he curls up in that corner. Overall, they're great pets to have. I've had Mr. T for about 14 years, and he's had a pretty pampered life, I gotta say. As you can see, his shell is still pretty clear. Not a lot of scratches or anything on it, still pretty shiny. It's pretty much because, well, he's pampered. So if they are in large groups, they do tend to fight with each other a little bit. They get a little banged up, their shells get scratched, but he is a single guy, lives by himself, and pretty much gets taken care of all the time, so he doesn't have a whole lot of abuse on his shell. That's pretty much it. So I'd do one last video before the summer was over and just get him outside. As you can see, he's got a little bit of clover there yet. He's done quite a bit of damage to the yard over the year. Luckily, from all the rain, it's snapped back pretty quick, so that's about it. Shoot some more videos over the winter, maybe some ideas of how to keep him warm and different stuff that I do in the house for him. During the Halloween, there's a lot of pumpkin around. He does love pumpkin, so I do feed him that. Not a whole lot, because there's quite a bit of sugar in it. Just want to make sure he's okay, but overall, it's pretty much the end of the summer for him. Luckily, they do slow down a lot in the winter time. They're not nearly as active. They don't actually hibernate, which a lot of people think they do. They don't actually hibernate. Getting a lot of dirt in there. They don't actually hibernate, but they do slow down. So he sleeps a lot of the day. And if I didn't go in and put food in there for him, he'd probably sleep 22 hours at a time and just come out just for a little bit, and then he goes right back to sleep. So it does make it easier to maintain him over the winter, since you don't have a lot of space to get him out and run. But overall, like I said, great pets to have, and wouldn't give up my little guy for anything.